I felt really confident about Georgia's potential to land Caleb Downs. Clearly, that did not happen. Ohio State landed his commitment on Friday night. But what do we do now if you're Georgia? Like, what is the aftermath of this whole Caleb Downs situation? I understand the frustration, a lot of emotion right now. That's totally understandable. I think that's fair. But let's sort of unpack this together as the emotion starts to sort of wear off of Caleb Downs picking Ohio State over Georgia. Make sure you're subscribed. It's college football every single day right here on the On3 YouTube channel on this show, The Hard Count. Full hour-long live episodes for you 3 times a week, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, 11 a.m. Eastern. Can also find that on podcast. But the live chat's just a good time to hear from y'all during those hours. So make sure you're dialed in. Again, make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss anything. When it comes to Caleb Downs picking Ohio State over Georgia, there's no way to sugarcoat it. I mean, we get told a lot on this show, hey, you're too positive. Listen, we're not your neighborhood hope dealer. It sucks to not land the top player in the transfer portal, especially the fact that he was a local kid. He's from the state of Georgia. Georgia fans, there was a lot of buzz, too, about him going to Georgia. People like me sat right here and told you, hey, I'm hearing good things about Georgia and Caleb Downs. No way to sugarcoat it, so I'm not going to do that. But I think the other part that we have to factor in here, the reason why it hurts so much if you're a Georgia fan today and kind of over the course of this weekend with him picking Ohio State is the expectations that were tied to it. Just what I said, in-state kid. The relationship with Travaris Robinson was cited in a report from ESPN as the reason why he was unsure about staying at Bama and ultimately entering the transfer portal. So you would imagine, and this is something I said on this show, you would imagine and assume that's also a reason for him to decide on a new place. Travaris Robinson clearly being at Georgia makes sense for him to follow his guy, right? Other part of this, Georgia has a history on defense of developing and turning out top prospects to the NFL. Like men lie, women lie. NFL draft numbers don't lie. And Kirby Smart has got as good of numbers as anybody in the last couple of years. Okay, so all those things paired with the very real buzz. And I think that buzz was real. I don't think there was anything, sleight of hand or ambiguous about it. Georgia, I thought, was that front runner. And that was what we heard. And that was probably what you heard too. So that's frustrating. It's frustrating because we already went down this road a little bit if we're a Georgia fan of saying, that's going to be awesome. That's going to be awesome. He's going to fit great with the defense, him and Malachi Starks and all that we bring back on offense and all those different pieces with Carson Beck. We're set to make a real run at this thing here. The frustration on top of the expectations, the real loss here is the opportunity cost. And opportunity cost is essentially something that you lose by nature of what you would have gained. Does that make sense? Like Malachi Starks and Caleb Downs, you didn't lose that because it never happened, but you would have had it. So therefore, not having it is the loss. Okay, same thing. Taking Alabama's best player. Like, let's be real here. That would have felt good if you're in Athens. Would have been nice to say, y'all beat us for the SEC championship, and then we took your best player. Come on, that would have felt good. The opportunity cost, that's what hurts. Also, the huge versatility he would have added to the defense. Caleb Downs, you don't need me to tell you this, but I'll tell you it anyway. Extremely complete player. I mean, he's willing to tackle, one of the top tacklers in the country last season. I mean, one of the top tacklers in the SEC last season as a true freshman, as a safety for Alabama. Not afraid to stick his nose in there. Also, incredible ball skills. Had several interceptions a season ago. Had one on a big stage against Michigan. Didn't end up counting, but you saw the ability to go and be a ball hawk. That's frustrating. What he would have added to the defense, how you could have moved him around, how he could have been on the field with a Malachi Starks and with a Jake Pope and made your defense that much more formidable. Of course, it's attractive. That's a loss because it's not going to happen now, which is frustrating. Also, the optics of Georgia's transfer portal class. Yes, you landed a Trevor Etienne. Yes, you landed a Colby Young. But to land the top player in the transfer portal, that headline would have read a little bit differently if you're a Georgia fan. Let's just be real here. So those are all the opportunity costs that are lost here. But again, the emotions of this whole thing, let's kind of be a little bit more even about this whole thing as we're a few days away from this, or removed from this rather, of Caleb Downs committing to Ohio State. After the emotion passes, Georgia is honestly in the same spot that they were before landing Caleb Downs. They are still, I believe, going to be the national title favorite when we kick this whole season off sometime late August, early September. August 24th is week 0. But who really is counting? Not us. We're not some 200-ish days away from week 0. We're junkies. It is what it is. Still have the best head coach in college football. Kirby Smart is still running the show. Whenever you wake up and he's not the guy with the whistle and clipboard getting your whole program together, then you can have some uneasiness. Then we can talk about where Georgia's at. Still the case. I wouldn't worry from Georgia. Still bring back your quarterback, who I think has a chance to be the top quarterback in America. Carson Beck's a dude now. He proved it last year. He gets another season to build off of it. Georgia's fine. You still have that. You also still have Glenn Schumann. You still have Will Muschamp. Kirby Smart already mentioned, but he's also going to have a hand in the defense. Like, all those individuals are still a part of what Georgia's doing defensively. I understand Will Muschamp is in the same role, but still, defense, I believe, isn't going anywhere. I also think it's worth mentioning, we talked about it a second ago, but Jake Pope, he's no slouch either. As a 4-star cat coming out of high school. He went to Alabama for a reason, because the dude can play some ball. Now he's at Georgia. So you still have a very talented safety, one of the top safeties in his own class. I mean, worth noting. He's going to be a dog for you as well. So when you look at Georgia, is it frustrating to lose Caleb Downs? And I say lose, I mean miss out on Caleb Downs is probably the word you would use. Yes, but after you get further away from this thing, it's like, okay, Georgia's still Georgia. Georgia's still going to be vicious on defense. Still, more than likely, I believe, going to be a favorite to win the national championship when things kick off in the fall. Georgia's still Georgia. So it's frustrating. The opportunity cost of what it would have been is exciting, but it's unfortunate it's not going to happen now. That's frustrating, but like at the end of the day, if you're Georgia, you're still Georgia. You still have the greatest head coach in the sport right now running the show for you. And as long as that's the case, I don't think there's any reason to lose any sleep at night in Athens. So it hurts. Can't sugarcoat it, but Georgia, I think, is still in shape to make a real run at that national championship game that's going to be in Atlanta. So not too far from the good folks in Athens if you wanted to get there. Appreciate y'all being dialed in. Make sure you're subscribed. Follow me on Twitter and on Instagram at JD Pickell. Content there that we don't always do on this very channel. We're live 3 times a week, though. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, 11 a.m. Eastern. Want y'all a part of it. Being subscribed, the best way to be a part of it. We appreciate y'all. We love y'all. We're going to keep this party rolling, and we will see y'all next time. Hey, y'all. Thanks so much for watching. Subscribe to the channel here to make sure you don't miss an episode of The Hard Count. Also, be sure to check out other videos on the On3 YouTube channel.